Hello to all traders and welcome back to another market review brought to you by Orbex. So we're looking at indices today to see if they can propel to record highs. We've been seeing gold hitting record after record and silver progressing nicely. It's just a turn now to see if stocks and indices can really start propelling, because we're seeing the beginning of the earnings season with Morgan Stanley and the Bank of America exceeding expectations. So is this a sign of things to come with the banking sector and other, obviously AI and tech stocks as well, really starting to see more of a movement higher? We saw the sell-off in the Dow, the S&P and the Nasdaq in the back end of last week when the continuous government shutdown. Now it's going into its third week actually, and we're just seeing price action potentially getting a little bit shaky. Traders are actually focusing more on the US dollar at the moment, which has been giving quite a few profits in the near term. But let's just take a quick look on the Dow first of all on the daily chart. As I said, from this sell-off that we saw from the record peak, we're seeing now price action progressing nicely, and like I said, with earnings season upon us for the final time this year, we're just seeing now that prices are just steadily moving a little bit higher. So from the bottom towards the 45,000 area, now obviously we're progressing more towards 47,000 than we were then to the downside. So are we going to progress to another record high? If we move to a little bit more on the daily chart, as you can see here, the previous top just above 47,000, we saw a full long-term bearish divergence on the RSI. So there was that worry that price action will start moving a little bit lower. So we're just waiting to see if that's going to be a thing, or if, as I said, tech stocks and AI stocks, amongst other stocks, can really start propelling and giving us more bang for our buck in the near term. So on the 4-hour chart on the S&P as well, similar to the Nasdaq, we saw this dramatic sell-off, but with the S&P it was a little bit different because we saw record after record being hit in the near term, and as you can see here, price action really moving this year to the upside. A little bit like a recovery from when the pandemic began. We saw price action move to a new record every time. But as you can see here, this prolonged bearish candlestick on the daily chart last Friday was a little bit of a concern after dropping further away from the 7,000 area. So now we're just waiting for another top to start moving a little bit more higher. But obviously from a spring away from, or a bounce away from the oversold area on the RSI, we're just waiting to see now if prices are going to start progressing and moving to where they were for most of this year. So we'll wait and see, and as always we'll bring you all the latest in technicals and fundamentals as they come. So just keep an eye out for the big fundamental headlines that have been in the newspapers, on the internet for most of this week. Middle Eastern conflict hopefully coming to an end. Obviously we've got trade wars emerging as well with the USA and China. We'll see how that goes and if that has any more of a bearing on this massive sell-off that we saw last week, when Donald Trump did say last Friday he was going to start imposing 100% tariffs and more on Chinese goods. We'll wait and see if that actually has any impact, if he does speak again, or if it will quieten down. It's happened before, as we've seen for most of this year. So thank you very much for joining me, and until next time, bye for now.